Hello everyone, I'm here with the geek comedian Uncle Yo, and we're at NonCon today, so just tell us actually, how did you get involved in doing stand-up comedy or this kind of crowd?
Well, it actually became, it's a bit of a backward process. I was staffing conventions. I've always been a fan of panels at conventions. I was a huge fan of cons, but I wanted to get into cons without paying for them. The only thing I knew what to do was talk about the things that I cared about. Before I knew it, there was a tie, there was a first attempt at a persona, and then the name stuck before we knew it. The whole point that I say is I didn't get into conventions to do stand-up comedy. I could only do comedy to get into conventions. The only thing that I knew how to do was talk about myself and how things affected me, how I liked them, and then the flaws, because that's what the fans do. They have to talk about, they have to internalize what they do.
Right on, and also just so, like, you've also been to many conventions before, small scale and large scale.
Yep.
What would you say the difference between those two would be? Like, what would you say larger scale conventions, like the pros and cons to that, as well as the smaller scale?
There's a brilliant difference in energy, the way that a massive convention feels like the convention, where you'll see all of your friends in passing for 2 seconds at the most, where you'll never get to meet the guests because they're so huge. You can't wait, you can't camp out a day and a half before the panels. A smaller convention works a lot more like a really long, weekend-long picnic in somebody's backyard or somebody's treehouse. If it's small enough, you'll see the same 300, maybe 500 people the whole weekend. And then you can actually shake hands, you can sit down, you can share a meal with somebody, you can get into a conversation about what you like, what they're dressed as. You and I are obviously going to talk Adventure Time later on.
Of course.
It's cosplay is gaydar for geeks, and you see what you like about it. So the smaller cons, I do prefer them because it's a much more intimate touch. I will end up, it's not even a sales base, but I end up making deeper friends and relationships with smaller area conventions. Because if I'm doing an area for a whole season, I'll see the same people again and again. And so if I see them at a larger convention, it's much more subtle. As opposed to if you just started a larger convention, that's your year-long commitment.
Right on.
You get a much more local flavor, depending on the concentration of the show. You may actually get around the area to see it, get around some local places. I've been to Pittsburgh, it's 10 times for shows.
Really?
And I've never gone to the Andy Warhol exhibit. I've never gone to Pitt. I've ridden up the tram once along the side that they have in Pittsburgh, but that's only because I was out there visiting family. And there's so many cities that I want to visit the city and get to know it, but all I know is, wow, this Hyatt looks like the Hyatt in Colorado. It's maddening.
It is. Convention life is truly maddening indeed. What would you say your favorite anime or video game cosplays that you've seen so far?
The cosplays of today?
Yes.
This is going to whittle through the home stretch because I know nothing about it. I know nothing about the characters. There's a great couple of Italians bouncing around, which is cool because I thought it had died off. I've seen no bronies today, though.
No bronies.
There's a great Jack Frost from Legend of the Guardians.
Yep.
There was an awesome Bane yesterday who dyed his hair purple today. I'm not sure what he's doing, but it looks awesome. I haven't seen anything like over-the-top, no gigantic prop work yet, but Saturday is still very young, still very fresh. And we've still got the Masquerade later today, and that's hopefully where the A game comes out. There are some larger conventions where you'll be blown away by something, and they didn't think to enter it. They didn't want to deal with the hassle of the competition, but you're just stunned at why they did not. And a lot of the times you'll miss those cosplays altogether because they're out for 10 minutes, right in a corner, then they get hot, then they go off and completely disarm. Where was I? You can't be everywhere at a big con. You can be everywhere at a small con.
That's really true, especially I know some people I've gone around to smaller conventions, I've seen them before and just reunite with them in a way. Smaller conventions, whereas bigger ones like Anime Boston, I'll see very few.
You're in very much a revolving door, it feels like.
Yeah.
But you're still hanging out for a weekend with a huge new family.
Exactly. This is like the beautiful thing about it.
It is, and Vassar's a beautiful campus any time of year.
Yeah, it is really nice around here. But yeah, so anyways, this is Uncle Yo and Jack Lodgy signing out, Cave Dwellers. And one quick personal question.
Absolutely.
Nickelback or Baha Man?
So it's like brain cancer or prostate cancer? Well, be honest, Nickelback is a dime a dozen, so it's a pretty spare change to begin with.
Right on. Thank you so much, Uncle Yo.
My pleasure, Mr. Finn.